Okay, we are going to kickstart this. This is 12:02. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Um, I don't know about your end, but it's kind of windy over here, so we're just going to go on with that. So, thank you very much once again for coming, and I'm really grateful to you guys for having to take the opportunity to just going through the rigorous exercise of filling that meetup link, like those RS, going to RSVP and stuff. I'm really grateful. Thank you very much. Um, the reason why we did that was because we had to prevent some problems that we had with joining meetings that you're not supposed to join. People just join any meetings and they tend to spam. So we are here to discuss about the DSC, why the DSC is here, and what the DSC is all about. Because I feel almost everyone on our WhatsApp groups and almost every student that knows one or two things about DSC has some kind of misconceptions about what the DSC really is. So most of everyone in those groups, they think the DSC is only about coding. No, the DSC is not only about coding, because personally, as a person, I think of coding itself as something that is like turning non-technical things into technical things. So basically, you have to be non-technical first before deciding to be technical. So like you have a problem, let's say you have a problem with finance, having a problem with finance, like something non-technical. So coding, like employing an app developer to help you with that problem, then using code to turn that problem into something technical. So that's what one of the some of the things that we'll be demystifying in this session. So once again, welcome Jeremiah. Like I said earlier, I don't want anyone to share the meeting link with anyone outside this call. That's the main reason why we created RSVP. So thank you very much for joining us. So I'll be saying a little bit about what the DSC is, and how we can help each other to foster growth in our community. So DSC basically is stands for an acronym. Most of every one of us know what the DSC stands for. The DSC stands for Developer Student Clubs. So these developer student clubs, they are a group of student developers that are interested in Google technologies. So these students, they help each other one way or the other to make sure that they grow in the community. That's what developer student club is. Google came up with the initiative because they feel students know what their problems are. They feel we have resources, we have talents that are raw, that haven't been harvested yet. So they move to us to make sure that we, from our end, we solve problems for ourselves and our community by engaging with each other, by making sure that we network and we get things done amongst each other. So that's what the Developer Student Club mainly is all about. So it's here to help bridge the gap between theory and practice. So by theory and practice, what I mean is that, okay, as a student, I'm a student, I study computer science, and what I do every day is that I go to school every day, I attend lectures. When I get to lectures, I listen to lecturers, I take lecturers' notes, and at the end of the day, when I am through with lectures, when exam comes, I take those notes and I cram everything from the beginning to the end. Mm? Then I go to the exam and I pour them out. That's the theoretical aspect. So when I get out of the exam hall, everything that I've poured out is gone. It's out of my head. So if I continue doing that, at the end of the day, when I graduate, I have problems landing a good job. I have problems with the labor market. So that's what the Developer Student Club is here to tackle for us. It brings that practical aspect, like you're a computer science student, you do C, C++, Java, and stuff. So Developer Student Club is here to help you practicalize those things, to help you to bring those things to a clearer picture for you. So it's not just about teaching you things; it's about helping you, like meeting other people that you never knew existed, and networking with them, sharing ideas with them, and getting things done. So I would like to like to acknowledge the presence of someone, like he's my mentor. He actually doesn't know that he's my mentor, but he's my mentor one way or the other. I've actually learned a lot of things from him. Okay, you would actually be getting to know more about this man. You actually be getting to know more and learn from him. So is on this call actually is Muhammad Samu. I like this man so much, and he will be telling us much more about what the Developers Link Club is, because basically I have only said a little bit about what the Developers Link Club is. The Developers Link Club is something that you need to hold very tight. You need to grab Developers Link Club. You need to know more about it. So bridging the gap between theory and practice is only a little thing out of what Developers Link Club is here to give to us. So I'm actually happy that people are turning up, and I hope this stays till the end of the program. So thank you very much, everyone. I would like to hand over to Muhammad Samu. He will be telling us much more about what Developer Student Club is, how we can leverage the Developer Student Clubs to becoming better people. So I don't know if he's currently on right now. Mohammed Samu, good afternoon, sir. Okay, thank you very much, sir. I recognize your thank you very much for being on this call, sir. And I would like to hand over to you now. Actually, I said you would start presenting by 12:10, but I don't know. We can actually start earlier than expected. So, sir, I can stop presenting now and give you the floor, sir, to do what you love doing most, sir.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you very much, everyone. My name is, forget what he's saying. My name is Auwal, and I'm not his mentor. I'm just one guy he meets on the street. So let me present my screen, and we can get started. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly, sir.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so thank you very much. First of all, once more, thank you very much for attending this session. University of Ilorin has had a DSC since 2018, since when the DSC program came to Sub-Saharan Africa. And within my presentation, we'll look at why it was started and how it got to SSA and where we are right now, and what the DSC program tries to solve. I remember I have 20 minutes, so let me set a stopwatch to ensure I don't go over time. Okay, so let's get started. My name is Auwal MS, and I happen to be the program manager for Developer Student Clubs in Sub-Saharan Africa. And I previously was the lead program assistant for Google African Scholarship or Andela Learning Community, as I believe most of you know it, when I was the program manager. And I used to manage different other communities from affiliation to Gate and stuff like that. Also, at the course of this presentation, if I happen to be very, very fast, feel free to flag it up so that I can be a bit slower. Just keep in mind I have only 20 minutes to make my presentation, and so that I can hand over. So I may have to be fast, even though it's just 11 slides. If you have any question, you can type them on the chat section, or you can feel free to DM me. My handle is AwalMS on every single platform that exists, or that I happen to be. I'm not on Abeg, so don't think of going to ask me on Abeg how far. I'm not there. If you go and ask another AwalMS, it's going to be something else. So my first question for this session, like as usual, if you know me, my session starts with questions. So this is my first question. How many of you want to work in tech after graduation? So I'm looking at the chat section, and then I can see somebody like a phone is on the call. Juni GN, Abdul Kudus also said I. Moving on to the next question. Do you think you have all the tools already available to become to be employable in the tech industry, right? So regardless of what role you want to take, whether you want to take a software engineering role, you want to take a marketing role, whatever you want to take, right? The most important thing is, do you think you have the needed skills? you have the needed tools for you to be able to skill up and get employed? For where? Not at all. This guy's a Nigerian. I will produce some. Awesome. So the answer to the two question is the reason why the DSC program started in 2017 in India. Um, so what happens is Google, as well as literally every single company, do have job openings that they usually have opened for, say, students or entry level or beginners, basically. And most times, students happen to be these beginners who wants to jump into the tech industry. Or in other situations, internship roles are targeted at students. And then Google, like many other companies, have get many applications when application cycles opens. But even at that, the high number of applications doesn't still guarantee having suitably qualified candidates. So it's been an issue for Google and literally many different companies. They're like, hey, we have these rules. We want people to learn, but they don't have the basic understanding of what happens in the industry. Yeah, they studied computer science. Yeah, they studied computer engineering and electrical engineering, but they don't have the requisite skills to fit into this role they were looking at filling, or this opportunity for them to intern with us. So the developer relations team thought of, okay, how about we start a program that tries to bridge the gap between theoretical computer science concepts or theoretical concepts that is learned in class and the theory needed in the industry. I know you're possibly here to start thinking, oh, our instructors or our lecturers did not teach us well. Well, or probably teaching us outdated resources. But if you look at it from the other side of things, right, the IT industry is way too fast, right? Like you're learning Angular 10 today, for example, or you're learning Angular 8 today. The next morning you hear Angular 9 has been released. Or you probably like you've been writing React since when it was React 10 or React something, and then you'll be writing class components in with like you'll be writing stateful components with class. All of a sudden React 16 came and said, you know what, class is actually bad. Please move to use a functional state, a functional component with hooks and stuff like this, and you get the same using new state effect and stuff like that. Right. So if your school have been teaching you class based, they're teaching you React, yes, and they're teaching you with class, and then you now go come to the industry, and then the requirement is like you need to be able to use functional state with hooks as a requirement. So these things change, right? Basically, it's just to tell you how fast the IT industry changed, and no matter how your school tries to catch up, the industry moves way too fast than how to adjust than what it will take to adjust your curriculum and stuff like this. So that is why we have the programs like the DSC, which is focused on the community. It's the reason why the name of the program is not Google's Developers Ambassadors or Google Student Ambassador as it was previously. That was because the program was focused on the student who is selected as an ambassador. In this case here, the DSC program tries to focus on the community, and that is why the name is a club. And then we have someone called a DSC lead. So we're interested in having to bridge the gap within the school, and that is why the main meaning why what the DSC program is about, or what it stands for. It's basically it's a campus-based community group that helps student developers learn together to solve to provide solutions to real life problems. So you see, it's not us talking about the individual student lead, it's about community because we're very huge on this. And what the community provides is an avenue for you to learn together with each other and to build solutions to local problems. We're not interested in you solving time traveling or building rockets, right? We want you to provide solutions to basic problem in your society. And at the course of my presentation, we get to share with you to show you some of the solutions that have been built and why they were built. So as you attend DSC's events, if you attend DSC events, these are the three cardinal goals. You you are provided with the opportunity to connect with other students in your campus from a diverse background and with a variety of experience from different industries. So you could, even if not other students, some of the speakers at your event will possibly be people with experience are working in different companies. You will be you possibly have a developer advocate from Google speaking at your event, or you get an engineer for GitLab or GitHub. You have someone from Netflix. You have someone from Airbnb, and stuff like this. These people have experience building apps for different platforms. For example, even at Google, you possibly have an Android developer advocate speaking at your event, or an engineer from the Flutter team, or someone from the web dev team. So these people still work in the same company, but have different focus and have different experience. And when they come to speak at your event, they share their own experience. Having two Googlers speaking at your event doesn't mean you're going to expect the same thing, because these people possibly have different focus. We cannot, for example, you cannot have two people from the web team speaking concurrently, speaking one after the other. Even if they're doing that, they're going to be speaking on different topics. So basically, get people from different variety of background and companies or industries to come and share. So when you come to DSC event, see it as an avenue to connect with each other and learn from these people. So when you attend this event, these people speaking could either be speaking, be organizing, be anchoring code labs, giving in-person talks to probably present a presentation session, or the event could even be a hackathon, and they came to your event to serve as speakers, to serve as reviewers and stuff like this. So when you attend DSC events, see it as an avenue to connect with each other and learn from each other. Growth is very, very important, right? If you go to the DSC website, you see this from the set in 2018-2019 set, which is the set before this, like the first set of DSC Lead in SSA. Over 90% of them got either an internship or a job role from what they learned in the DSC program. Or like, so see this as an avenue. So how do you think you grew here? So I attended an event, or you attend an event and met someone who works for company Z. He works as a web dev, probably a technical team lead, right? And then all of a sudden he went back to the company, and you get to introduce yourself. You network with him, tell him, hey, I'm an Android dev, and these are some of the apps I built. And then after networking with the person goes back to his office. And then after a few days or a few weeks or even a month or even a year, and then his company reach out to him, like, do you actually know any Android dev? We need some Android devs to work on this for me. And then the person gets to remember, oh, actually I attended the University of Ilorin's DSC event, and I met this guy or this lady who happens to be Android dev, and I think she would be a good fit for this role, or like he'll be a good fit for this role. And then the person decided to be like, okay, let me reach out to my network. And then he reached out to this person, and the lady sees that, oh, this opportunity actually fits into what I do, and I would love to try it out. And then the person get either an internship or a full-time role. So this is what you see as an opportunity. This person gets to grow from attending that event, using the opportunity to network, connect with each other, and learn from different people who attend the event. So these are some of the things that the DSC program tries to push. When you attend DSCs, see a DSC event, see it as an avenue to connect with people, to learn from people, and see an opportunity to grow with people. So for us, our goal is to create impact. Impact for us is us trying to impact students, right? Members of DSCs, and empower them with tools and resources that will in turn help them to impact their communities. Imagine we provide resources for Android and then you learn how to build Android apps, and then the next year or the next month, you try to build an app that everyone in your organization or in your community, on your communities, tries to use to probably report emergencies and stuff like this. So you're creating an impact on your community based on the resources we provide to you. So to us, that is the impact. We provide the resources to you and empower you to build solutions for your local community. And as you do this, remember that you're not alone. The DSC program is a global community. And it's not just a DSC program, right? We are part of a global community. And DSC is just one of many other communities at Google. DSC has other communities like GDGs, also have women tech makers, and we have the Google Developer Experts program. But then for the DSC alone, we already have over 1,200 leads for this year. This is us not even including the alumni, people who were DSC leads previously. Just the DSC leads, we have over 1,200 leads from every single region, from Sub-Saharan Africa, where we are right now, to Southeast Asia, to North America, Oceania, as well as Australia, New Zealand, plus Europe. So we have DSCs in literally every place you ever think of. You can go to dsc.community.dev to see the list of countries or schools we have DSC. And then as we try to help, we try to encourage people to build solutions to local problems, right? We've seen this as very, very crucial, and then we even decided to start a competition. The DSC Solutions Challenge, it's an annual global competition that different DSCs from different campuses participate and build solutions to local problems. This happens only once a year, and the goal is to solve a problem for your organization or a real organization, or for your community or a real organization. So you're either building a solution that is useful to your organization, to your community, or you're building something that can be used by an organization. Probably a business in your school faces an issue and you build that solution to them. It solves their problem. It creates an impact on them. It in pulse creates an impact in your community because they are part of your community. Our only requirement is you need to incorporate Google technology. So you don't need to build the whole app. Probably you're going to build a web app and then say, hey, I must use Angular, and then you're not an Angular developer. No. Just use whatever tool works for you. We expect you to build to use either one of our products or platform. It could be you building the app for the Android OS, which is a Google product, right? Or you're deploying your web app on GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, right? So, or you're probably building an app and then you're thinking of the database. You think of, oh, I'll probably use a non-relational database, a NoSQL, right? And then decided like, hey, Firebase actually works for me. Or you want to implement authentication and say, okay, I'm going to use Firebase for authentication. That works for us. You don't need to use probably say, hey, I'm going to build everything with Google technologies. If that is your stack, fine. If it is not, use what works for you, but just incorporate one Google technology. That is our only requirement. And one thing to clarify is whatever you build, you own the IP and every single thing relating to that product. You're not building the product for Google, you're building your own product and it is yours and yours forever. And the good thing is you can start now. You don't need to wait for probably say January when we announce the solutions challenge and say that is when you're going to start building your solution. You could probably start to think of problems right now and try to build solutions and try to think of solutions and then start building. You register in January and be able to complete your project by March to submit the project. So now is the time to start thinking of it. So one thing for us is we don't just tell you to participate in a competition without equipping you, right? As you try to plan for what to do, if you don't even know how to identify a problem, the link highlighted here, go.gl/2sxgpzb, actually is the event website. The resources you'll find there, some of the resources you'll find in the resource section is a video on how to identify problems, how to identify solutions, how to build interfaces, as well as how to select the technology of choice. So we don't tell you just to go and compete with people. We also give you the necessary resources to be able to be good enough for this competition. Remember, it's a global competition. You're not just competing with other DSCs in Kwaras, in other DSCs in Nigeria, or other DSCs in Sub-Saharan Africa. You're competing with every one of the 1,300 DSCs from around the world. So this is the opportunity for you. This is the opportunity for everyone. If in the future you try to visit this link and it doesn't work, this link here, go.gl/solutions challenge, is the link, the permanent link for the event website. It currently is pointed at the demo from the last solutions challenge program. So it started in 2018. The solutions challenge started in 2019. DSC started in 2017. It got extended to SSA as well as Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia in 2018. In 2019, we started the Solutions Challenge program. We announced in January, got DSCs to participate from the continents and regions that were participating. And then we were lucky, as I always say it, when we started this DSC Solution Challenge or the DSC World Cup, we were lucky to have the first winning team to come from Africa. So this region produced the first winning team. And this was what they built. They were a team of 3 students from Arua University, Muni University in Arua, Uganda. It's in northern Uganda. And this was what they built, the immunization calculator. You can clearly agree with me that this is not the best interface, right? It is not what you think. Like, it is not about how shiny it is, how shiny it looks. It is actually about how impactful it was, or how impactful is what you're building for the whole community. So the immunization calculator basically is a mobile application that helps health workers. Currently, it's even extended to mothers. To improve the efficiency of their operation, it basically tries to help them calculate, okay, this child should be, when you enter the date of birth of the child, it tells you, okay, this child is supposed to be immunized. Immediately after birth, the child is supposed to be given BCG immunization as well as OPV, or a polio vaccine, and BCG for vaccination. And then after a year, you come back for BCG, but after 2 weeks, you're expected to come back for OPV, right? And this is what this app tries to solve. Nothing complex. At the moment, it also sends notification to mothers a week to the next due date of their child, in 3 days to the event, to the vaccination date, as well as the morning of the vaccination, sent a push notification to that. This project was built with native script for the Android platform and uses Firebase for its database. Basically uses Firebase cloud messaging, Firebase cloud messaging for push notifications to health workers when due dates are there. It's built by three members of the team, the DSC Lead and other members of his core team. So that was the winner for 2019, the only World Cup winner as of 2019. In 2020, earlier before pandemic, 2020 BC, right before Corona, we announced the Solutions Challenge in January, and we're able to have 2 of the top winning teams. We realized selecting just one team may not be the best approach because different people actually build really awesome solutions. So just recognizing one person is actually not fair of us. So we decided to select top 10, and we're lucky to still have 2 teams from SSA. We're one of the 2 highest region with the highest number of participants in the winning team. One of the highest region with the highest team in the top 10. Which basically means we still retain our trophy, even though we're sharing the trophy with other regions within 10 teams. But then Africa still has a hand in the trophy. So we retained our trophy, and what we built was one of the projects being immunization response assistant was built by the team from University of Education in Kumasi, Ghana. And they built an emergency response assistant that helps users report scenes of emergencies immediately the apple, and then the appropriate agencies get notification with location of the incident. The team by the right here built from Midland State University, built a capstone project, which is basically a plagiarism checker. It was just the basic thing they built. They realized their school pays huge amount of money for a plagiarism checker. And then Zimbabwe's currency has been affected really, really bad by the current crisis. They have a crisis even before, they have a high inflation rate even before the pandemic came in. And it was really, really impossible for them to pay because they don't even pay in local currency, they pay in dollar. And with the pandemic and as well as their own personal internal crisis, it was literally impossible for them, for the school to be able to pay for for the subscription that they use. So this team decided to build a project called Capstone that does exactly what the initial project was used in their school. So they built a plagiarism checker that scraps the internet after a student submits his report, his project or science report and seminars, and get to see if the person actually copied someone's code or sorry someone's article. So that is two simple things that were built, right? So these were people building solutions to their local problem. The emergency response assistant is for the community. The Midland State University's project Capstone solve a real life problem for their institution. So their school now just need to use the project and pay the company. Like so the team actually converted their solutions challenge. They are currently registering it as a startup and are using their school as a test runner. And if it works, the school starts to subscribe to the platform and pay students from that same school, but in local currency, and could be extended to other institutions across the country as well as across the world, right? So these are people building solutions to local problem. If you want to see some of the other solutions that were built by different people from different teams, go to the link down here, go.gl/solutions challenge, to see the top winning teams demo their projects, as well as get interviewed by some of my colleagues from the different teams at Google here. And our keynote speaker was no one but Vincent, one of the two people who built the internet. What you're using now to listen to this talk was built by some gentlemen, and one of them, who now works as a vice president here in Google, happens to be our keynote speaker. He came to speak about why they built the internet, how they built a solution to that problem, as well as to recognize the individuals from the different 10 teams here that work to build the solutions to their own local problem. They built the internet as a solution to their own problem, and it's actually globally now used by everyone. And then wants to recognize others for doing what they're doing now. So this link has a video with all the teams demoing as well as Vincent's talk. To learn more about the DSC program, or to learn more about how to become a DSC lead for next year and stuff like this, please check out this link, g.co/there/DSC, for more information. If you have any question that is not clarified, please feel free to ping me or send me a DM. My DM is always open on Twitter as well as every single platform that I happen to be on, and the handle still remains Auwal MS. Right? Feel free to send me an email, or feel free to send me a DM, and I'll do my best to reply you as soon as I can. If you have any question, I'll be on the chat section for like the next 5 minutes. I have another talk to speak for to another DSC in probably in 10 minutes, so I need to get off this call. But thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you for listening to my talk. I'll be here on the chat section.
Thank you very much, Mr. Auwal. It's great to have you to speak with us about what the DSC is and how we can get started. So thank you very much, guys. So you can go over to the chat section and ask him any questions that you feel you have. So before we move on to the next stage, I'll actually be sharing my screen, and I want us to take this thing out of this space only. I want us to tweet about things, and I'll make this thing to flow. Okay, so right now I have some hashtags on my screen. So if you can see my screen, so the hashtags, you can easily go to Twitter and tweet with this hashtags. So this will get us more publicity and things. So make sure to follow us at okay, I actually forgot to add the our handle. So make sure to hashtag us at this, and we will retweet any of your tweets. So thank you very much. So before I bring in the next speaker, I actually have to say a little bit about him and what he wants to talk to us about. So this guy is someone that I admire a lot. So he's actually a lead like me also. So I actually had to bring him in to talk to us about some things. So this guy is a technologist. So he actually is more into the Jam stack. So for some of us that don't know the Jam stack, it's JavaScript, something I've forgotten. I'm not a web dev actually. So this guy, he loves technology. He can talk about technology a whole lot. So I actually met him when we onboarded for the DSC lead. So this guy is actually a member of our community from past DSC leads. So he's actually a member, and he is the DSC lead for University of PortHarcourt. So he will be talking to us about what technology is, what tech is, because I feel most of us, we don't really know what technology is. Yeah, some of us think technology is all about coding, developing applications, building models, and doing all those things like coding and stuff. But technology is not about all about that. Technology still has some things about it. So we have so many other fields in technology like digital marketing and all those brilliant and interesting fields in technology that most of us haven't even tried to explore yet. So this guy will be talking to us, will be enlightening us about some of those tech stacks and how to get started with those stacks. So I would like to usher in Benjamin Ogurinka. He's the DS lead for University of Accord. He will be talking to us about what tech is all about. So Benjamin, are you on the call?
Hello, can everyone hear me
Yeah, we can hear you. Can hear you perfectly.
clearly?
Yes,
Can you hear me
beautifully.
clearly?
Yeah, you're not using glue.
Oh, okay. So thank you very much for having me, Mohammed. Uh, I think you should stop presenting so I can share my screen. Okay. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Like Ahmed has already mentioned, my name is Ogurinka Benjamin. Uh, Although I prefer being called Kami, it's easier to remember. It sticks better than having to memorize Ogurinka Benjamin. Can you guys see my screen before I proceed? Hello, please. If you can see my screen,
Yeah,
just let me
perfectly,
know.
perfectly.
Okay. So just like Ahmed introduced earlier, I'm the DSC lead for the University of Port Harcourt. I'm crazy about the web and the user interfaces. I'm also someone that's very committed in terms of community building and all of that. Away from being the lead of the University of Port Harcourt, I'm also the lead for the University of Port Harcourt tech community. So
Uh,
I have a lot of love for tech, and I have a lot of love for talking about tech. So thanks very much for the honor and the privilege. Today I'll be sharing with you briefly about what tech is, or like the topic says here, what is tech. There are a few ideas that people have. There are a few confusion that people tend to have in terms of what tech is, in terms of what their understanding of tech is, and what their belief of what tech is. So I just want to like give a bit more clarity, help you understand some of the things you might have previously not fully understood, and give you a different perspective that you can definitely take from here today. So, green writing, defining tech. In simple terms, previously you might have gotten the idea that tech is more about computers, more about doing things with computers, and plenty of the misconceptions that people have about tech. But in simple terms, think of tech as a collection of skills, a collection of techniques, tools, and processes that you employ to achieve a certain goal. Let's say, for example, I always like using the chair analogy, but try using something different. Let's say you want to build a house, or you want to construct a door for your house or for your building or for something. Before you proceed to do that, you actually need to have a certain set of skills. Actually need to have a certain set of skills. You need to have a certain set of you need to know some certain set of techniques. Please let me know if at any point you stop hearing me, because I don't have my eyes on the chat sections, So please, if you stop hearing me, just let me know as soon as possible. Can you guys still hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. So if you want to build a door, if you want to build, I think you should leave your mic. If you need your mic on, so I can be sure that I'm still on the call, since I can't really see my chat section. Thank you,
Yeah.
because your mic on, I can know if I'm on the call or not. Okay, so if you want to build a house, if you want to build a door, you have to have a certain set of skills. You need to know a couple of things. You need to understand how to the wood. You need to know the kind of wood that is needed for the project you want to go on to. If you want to build a house, you need to understand the kind of land that you want to put to the house. There's a certain kind of foundation that won't favor certain kind of houses. Let's say you want to build, let's say, 3-story building or a 5-story building. The foundation won't be the same as just building a simple flat. So you have to consider all of this when you want to build certain things. The same goes for tech. It's not just about the technical aspect, or it's not just about the part where you have to use computers to achieve a certain goal. It's also about the skills, the techniques, and the process you follow whenever you want to build a certain product or a certain tool. Now, before we proceed and talk about a bit more about tech, just going to go ahead and debunk a few of the myths, like I already mentioned earlier, that you might have heard about tech. So, the myth one, say tech is for computer science students alone. I hear this a lot. Personally, personally, I am a computer science student, so I get that idea of people wanting to believe that, okay, as long as you're a computer science student, tech is just for you. But the truth is, this is absolutely not true. It's not true because I am someone that was actually mentored by someone who did not study computer science. The person that mentored me, that helped me get some footing in tech, actually studied human anatomy in school. And I might ask yourself, okay, how does someone that does human anatomy manage to get into tech? That's how amazing it is. It's not just a field restricted to people that are in tech, that are in computer science, or that have some level of engineering knowledge. Tech is actually not restricted to that. A second myth you might have probably heard is that tech is for those who can write code and build apps, blah blah blah. The truth is, this is also false, and you do not necessarily have to be someone that has a very deep technical knowledge. You don't necessarily have to be someone that can actually write codes and build powerful applications to get into tech. There are lots of other aspects of tech, which we'll discuss later on in this talk, that do not require you to have any level of coding knowledge or any of that. The third and final myth that you might have also heard is that, okay, if you don't own a laptop, you can't do anything around tech. This is also false. Now, when I say it is false, don't get me wrong. Owning a laptop is actually necessary, but it's not something that you would say that without it you can't get into tech, because there are some fields in tech that you can actually actively succeed in without, or at least get started to a level without having to own a laptop when you're starting out with them. So like I said, when we're going on further, we're going to discuss a bit more about some of these fields. So after all of that, after debunking all of that, who's tech then for? Think about it. Whoever has an idea, whoever wants to build something, whoever wants to solve a problem, then tech is for you. If you think about how the world has evolved, how things have progressed over the years, we've come to a point where it is almost impossible that whatever you do, you don't have to apply some form of tech to it. If you're in farming, if you're into farming, for you to actually elevate your products, your crops to a certain level, you need to apply some form of tech to be able to be at the level that actually scales better. If you want to harvest products, there are certain processes you're still going to follow. A level of tech is being applied to that. Or let's say you're a carpenter, the tools you're going to need, whether or not they're operated by computers, some form of technical knowledge has been applied to make these things work. So tech is not restricted to people that are just computer science students or people that are well schooled in a certain field or anything. Tech is for anyone that basically has an idea. You can build, pioneer the building of a product without even having to be someone that is deep into the, let's say, the computer part of it or any of that. Just having the knowledge, having an idea of how these things work is enough for you to count yourself as someone that is into tech. So that said, how do you fit in? What are the opportunities available? Now, knowing that wherever you are, you can get into tech. How do you fit in? What are the opportunities available? How do you go ahead with this? Before I proceed to go ahead and talk about some of the things I have in my next slide, I'll just take a few minutes and just pay attention to this. So now, how do you fit in? What are the opportunities available? I've already mentioned that as long as you have an idea that you want to build, or a solution that you want to solve, or something that you intend to achieve, then tech is for you. And I want to ask yourself, since this is for me, how do I fit in? Fitting in helps you. Knowing how to fit in is very important, because you can't say you're in tech if you don't know how you fit into tech. So in terms of how you can fit in, there are lots of opportunities. There are lots of areas that you can actually get started in. You can choose to understand whether or not you want to be this person that builds applications or someone that builds solutions and all of that. Or you can choose to ask yourself if you want to be someone that basically reflects an idea and then coordinates people to actually build that idea. Now, just because you're just someone that has an idea but you don't know how to build the idea, that doesn't eliminate you as someone that is in tech. You're actually as much in tech than the person who is actually building this thing. So asking yourself and understanding if you want to be actively involved in the building process, or if you just want to be this person that pioneers ideas. Some people call them growth hackers. I'm not even sure if that's the right term, but they're people that pioneer ideas they identify a problem and then think of ways this problem can be solved. Those people are also people in tech. They do not necessarily have to have all the necessary technical knowledge and all of that. They've been able to understand how they fit in. They've been able to understand that I am someone that can identify a problem. I am someone that can think about how to solve a problem. That is a way you could choose to fit in. Or you could choose to fit in as someone that actually gets their hands dirty. By getting your hands dirty, I mean someone that you want to go and learn the actual skill to be able to build what you want to build. You can ask yourself all those questions and then choose what's next to do. Now, if you're someone that wants to let's say get into the more actively involved areas, there are a few opportunities that are available. I'm going to briefly talk about the ones I have on my screen currently. The first one on the screen is UI UX. I'm almost sure that a lot of people have heard about this. They're not very sure what it is. Now, in very simple terms, UI UX refers to UI for short refers to user interface, while UX refers to user experience. Now, the user interface, what refers to the user interface is basically being able to design something visual that people can relate to, people can interact with. Now, when you hear UI UX, you might want to say, you need to gain some form of technical, you need to learn some form of tools or all of that to be able to be a UI UX person. Yes, knowing the tools and the technologies that are necessary for you to be a UI UX designer is important, it is necessary, but it's not limited to that. It's not limited to that in terms of the fact that user interface and user experience applies to a lot of fields that are not just about the digital aspect. Like I always used to explain, the door, for example. You can relate to the door. You can tell where the handle is. You can tell where the keyhole is. You can tell that okay, if I drag it down, if I drag the handle down, the door will open. Or if it's not a door that uses the handle, you can tell that if you slide it, the door will open. If you slide it and backwards, the door will open. If you slide it forward, the door will close. Now, that in itself is an application of user interface and user experience, because an architect sat down and they were able to design what the door would look like, even though it's by drawing or using architectural softwares. They've been able to design what the door would look like, and they've been able to create an experience that people can easily interact with. Now, in terms of where you would find more people having the title UI UX designers, bringing it to like websites and mobile applications, the way you use your WhatsApp, the way you're currently on this call with Google Meet, someone designed how everything is supposed to appear, where each button should be, where okay, to tell that the red button is to end the call, to tell that okay, when the call ends they should show a message and all of that. Someone designed all of that before a developer actually brought it live. So this is like a very basic way of understanding and getting a good idea of what a UI UX designer is, or who a UI UX designer is. They do not need to know how to code. Some of them choose to learn to code. I myself, I know how to code, but it's not a necessity. It's not something that you'd say that okay, getting into this, you have to go and learn how to, yeah, you have to go and learn how to code. It's not necessary. It's just something you could just naturally build a mindset for and just naturally get good at. Now, web development, this is a very popular area. Like I'm almost sure that one way, I'm sure, at least I'm 100% sure that everyone on this call has heard about web development. Basically, this is basically using the technology that exists on the web and build websites or applications that run on the internet. You could choose to learn something like HTML, CSS, JavaScript for the front end. Front end basically refers to the part of your application or the part of your website that people get to see. Or you could choose to go and learn something like PHP or Go or Dart or C Sharp, C++, and the likes, or Java for your backend application. Backend in terms of what people do not get to interact with. That's like also an aspect of tech they could choose to get into. It's a very progressive aspect of tech because it's very easy to get into, and job opportunities there are almost endless, even as a freelancer or getting employed in a company. There are also app developers, or there's also application developments. Basically, people that build mobile applications, desktop applications, and all of that. They learn certain kind of coding knowledge and certain kind of coding languages that help them build applications that run either on mobile or on desktop or any other kind of environment that requires an application. They're graphic designers. Basically, I'm sure everyone has heard about a graphic designer. The flyer that you saw to get invited for this event was designed by a graphic designer. It is an aspect of tech. A lot of people might not really see it as so, but graphic design, being able to communicate visual information that people can relate to and be able to interact with, is an aspect of tech. There's AI, ML. AI stands for artificial intelligence. ML stands for machine learning. These are people that I usually really respect because they do a lot of heavy lifting and do a lot of complicated things that even myself sometimes find it hard to wrap my mind around. But it's also an aspect of tech. Basically, these are people that employ a set of tools and a set of skills and a set of knowledge to build applications or softwares that are able to operate or think for themselves. They're able to give responses or react to certain things without the help of a human, without a human being physically present to do that. One very good example of an AI and an ML or a machine that learns is your Google Assistant. If you tell Google Assistant a certain thing, the Google Assistant automatically does it for you without you having to manually do it yourself. If you teach Google Assistant a certain thing, it also automatically learns that thing and saves it for next time whenever you need it to reproduce that information. If you're not on Android, you might have used let's say Siri. Siri is basically the Apple version of Google Assistant. So basically that's like a very brief overview of what it is. VR, AR. I'm trying to speed up. I'm not really sure how much time I have left. I think I have a few more time left, few more minutes left. Okay, VR and AR. Basically, virtual reality, which is VR, AR, and augmented reality is basically being able to combine what is with what isn't. Now, let me try and break that down in very simple terms. In very simple terms, VR, virtual reality. Think about it this way. Let's say you've never been to a country like, let's say, you've never been to a country like France, and you've not visited Paris in France. With VR now, someone that is into VR could design a virtual reality model of what France looks like, or probably capture France from the perspective of a virtual world and make it available for you to be able to interact with this. Or let me use a real life example. For example, let's say someone might be able to build a virtual world, a world that does not exist, or a universe that does not exist. They can design certain technologies and design an environment, and you now being able to use some of the technologies or some of the hardware that is necessary, you can be able to feel like you're in that place. You can be able to have a visual representation of what it is and how that place would actually feel like, what an item would actually look like if you were staring at it without actually being in that location. One very good way to experience this, although it doesn't work well for every device, but one very good way to experience VR and AR, if you use an updated version of YouTube, if you use an updated version of YouTube, you search for 360 videos or virtual reality videos, and basically you'll be able to interact, you'll be able to like swipe across the screen and be able to have a 360 view of your environment. It works on some, just go ahead on YouTube and search for 360 videos on YouTube. Just by swiping on the screen, you can be able to look up, down, and left and right, or behind you, just by swiping across the screen. Now, this doesn't really give the actual experience. To be able to have a better feel of what I'm talking about, you need a VR headset to be able to interact with this. But if you need to know more about that, you can look at that later. Then AR, augmented reality, is basically combining real life, basically bringing something that isn't really there into a space, into reality. Let's say, for example, the way you use your Snapchat, when you put your face in front of the Snapchat camera, and then it's, let's say, adds some form of dog filter on your face, or um, just add some form of or if you use your Snapchat, and you can add an emoji to a particular, let's say, a table. You can add an emoji to your table, and it looks as if the emoji actually exists on that table. That's a very good example of AR. So if you've ever used Snapchat, if you've ever interacted with Snapchat, you might have an idea of what I'm talking about. If you might not have known that that's what augmented reality is, but that's basically it. Being able to just, when you put your camera in front of you, you can just have a feel of, you can have your face being changed to something else, and all of that. That's an application of augmented reality. Another way you might be able to understand what augmented reality is. Let's say you go to a site. I'm not really sure if I don't really have any site on my head now that offers the service I'm about to describe, but I know I've seen it somewhere. Let's say you want to buy let's say a couch for your house, or you want to buy something new. I want to understand how it will look like when you actually bring it to your house. Let's say you want to understand the space you want to put your couch or the chair. You want to understand how it will actually look like when you bring it there. With AR now, you can be able to place that virtual object, that thing that is not actually there, and put your camera and be able to see what it would look like if it was actually there. Or let's say you want to you want to buy a shirt, you can be able to actually see what it would look like on your wardrobe without actually getting the shirt. So that's also a very good example of AR. You can go ahead and read about all of that much later. I want to like rush through the rest of them. Now, SEO, basically what these guys do, or what their job in very simple terms, is being able to come to optimize websites and applications or businesses to be able to appear when they search for them on the web. Now, if you're someone that's ever run a business, or if you've ever done a Google search for something like, let's say, business is near me, or let's say shops near me, if you do a search like that, you notice that some results pop up, and then you have things like their website, their location, their address. This is basically the job of people that are into SEO. They ensure that when someone searches for a website or a business, the business can be found on the internet without too much stress. So this is basically the work of people that are SEO specialists. They don't require any form of coding. They don't need to know how to code. They don't need any form of any form of active coding knowledge to be able to achieve this. But this is basically their job. They ensure that when you search for a certain product or a certain service on your favorite search engine, you can be able to get results from them quite easily. Then there are quality testers. Their job basically is to ensure that an application runs the way it is supposed to run. Let's say you've built a software now or a product, and you want to be able to understand that. You want to be able to test if it works or if it solves a problem that it's supposed to solve. You want to check for bugs and all of that. You give it to a quality tester, and they ensure that this product is what it is. It solves the problem it's supposed to solve. Then they identify issues. I don't know. Some of you might have been able to. You might have seen some ads on the internet where they tell you where they tell you, they say they want to pay you to use a product and understand and check for issues with the product. This is somewhat what quality testers do. They evaluate a product or a software that has been built, and they ensure that this works the way it's supposed to work. To give you a better understanding of a quality tester away from technical terms, you could look at. I always use the door analogy because it's one of the very simple things that everybody interacts with daily. Someone tests a door to ensure that okay, this door works properly. When I bring down the handle, the door opens properly. There's no issue and all of that. This is the job of someone that does quality testing. Data analysts basically these people work with data. They analyze data. This is an aspect of tech that's this requires. It does not always require coding because the people that do it without coding, but a lot of people that do data analysis, they also learn how to code either with Python or R or JavaScript with TensorFlow. But not TensorFlow. They use Python or R. Those are the two popular language people that are going to data analysis learn. But there are also people that do data analysis without let's say coding knowledge. They perform data analysis using softwares like Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets or Power BI. Basically, what they do is understand data, collect data, analyze data, and use that data that they've collected and analyzed to solve a problem or improve the quality of the software or a business. Let's say you want to understand your users better, or you want to understand how users relate to your product better, or you built a software or you built a solution. You want to understand how do people actually use this. They want to be able to understand patterns and trends. This is the job of a data analyst. Of a data analyst, they understand how a product works, they understand how a software is, they understand the goals of the business, and they collect data, analyze this data, and help improve that business or help improve that product. That's basically the job of a data analyst. Tech supports. These are also another set of people that do not necessarily need to know how to code. Basically, their job is to provide technical support whenever you're using the product or all of that. Let's say you buy a product, or let's say you're shopping on something like Amazon or on Jumia, and then you're having issues with payments. Maybe your payment isn't being processed or something like that. Or let me bring it to a more relatable term. You have an issue with your SIM, and then you call your customer provider, and they provide you with certain walkthrough on things to do to ensure that your SIM works in a certain way. That's basically the job of tech support. Their primary duty is to understand how a product works and be able to relate problems that other people that might be using that product might face. So this is basically the job of someone that is into tech support. Tech recruiters, basically what they do is hire people that are going to actually get into the field of tech. They might be developers or UI UX designers, data analysts, or even tech support. Basically, they are recruiters. They understand talent. They understand the talent that are needed by a business. they study the kind of talents that are needed, they evaluate the talents, and then they recruit the talents. That's basically the job of a tech recruiter. This is also an opportunity. This is also an aspect of tech that a lot of people do not also recognize. And then finally on my list, you have technical writers. Basically, these are people that write. It's as simple as that. They document how a product works, how a software works, and they put it into writing. A very good example is if you've ever bought, let's say, if you bought your phone, it comes with a very brief manual that explains how to do certain things. This is the job of a technical writer. Being able to get from where I am, to get to where I am today has been a product of being part of the developer student clubs. Because occasionally, or let me say occasionally, often they have sessions, they have events that are aimed at training people to be able to understand a lot of the tech concepts that exist, whether it's web development, whether it's app development, whether it's cloud technologies or anything. This is basically what the developer student clubs helps you achieve. It gives you a platform where you can learn without having to pay. One very good example for me is that when I went to get into tech, when I went to learn how to code, I went to a firm that offers training, and I was told to pay a very huge sum of money, and I didn't have the money, I couldn't afford it. But then I had a platform like the developer student clubs that ensured I could grow. And being just being a part of that community helped me learn a couple of things I didn't know, and I was able to grow. So it's a very good way to get started if you want to get into tech or you want to build your tech knowledge is to join a developer community like developer student clubs. If you're not a student anymore and maybe you might not feel very comfortable identifying with the developer student clubs, Mr. Auwal earlier on mentioned a couple of other communities that exist. There's the Women Tech Makers and there's the Google Developer Groups. All of these are platforms that offer opportunities for you to be able to learn technical things like web development, app development, cloud technologies, UI, UX, technical writing, and all of that. And these platforms also offer opportunities for you to get paid while also learning this all these opportunities that exist. For example, for those that are in secondary school and primary school and the likes of it, they have the Google Coding, which is a program designed for young students to be able to learn, to be able to practice their little coding knowledges on real life projects. There's also the Google Summer of Code, where you also get paid to learn, or okay, let me not say get paid to learn. You get paid to build and learn at the same time. So basically, if you've had some level of coding knowledge, if you have some level of technical, or let's say coding, yeah, let me say I'm to use coding knowledge. If you have some level of coding knowledge, the Google Summer of Code helps you um get let's say it helps you learn certain things, helps you improve your skills, and helps you practice those skills while also getting paid to do it. For example, the Google Summer of Code pays, I think last year they paid $3,000 for people that participated for a 3 months internship. And participating in this is just by people that you've learned a certain skill, and now Google is offering you the opportunity to be able to practice this skill. And being a part of a program like Google Developer Student Clubs gives you the opportunity to be able to learn some of these skills that can actually easily apply for when you're going for something like Google Summer of Code. Then if you're a writer, if you're a technical writer, also there's also the Google Season of Docs, which also offers you an opportunity to be able to write and get paid while you do it. So all of these steps are things that you can actually just get knowledge of, understand how they work better, get deeper insight on them by being a member of the developer student clubs. Because some of these opportunities you might not hear about them outside anywhere else. Something like Google Summer of Code, it has been for I think about 16 years or thereabout. I never heard about it until I joined the developer student clubs. Also, this is Google Coding. I also never heard about it until I joined the developer student clubs. The Google season of Docs, I also didn't hear about it until I joined the developer student club. So these are opportunities that exist that you can actually get exposed to just by being a part of the developer student club. So one good way to get started is just to find a developer student clubs near you and join it. Another very good way to get started is by interacting with any of those platforms. You can choose to interact with any of those learning resources and get started. Free Code Camp offers you an amazing curriculum to learn web development for free. Coursera offers if you're I think University of Ilorin also has like a Coursera program where you get access to about 3,000 of their courses for free. So you can also
I
leverage
don't
on
think it's
that
only for
opportunity.
University of Illinois students. I think it's for every
Okay,
school.
okay. Yeah, I just want to like localize it.
Okay,
My
okay,
university also has the opportunity available.
okay.
So you can leverage on that and learn almost any technical skill you might want to get exposed to. There's also edX, which you get access to courses from a lot of the very big players in terms of tech. There are courses from the likes of Microsoft, MIT, Harvard. I think currently the Harvard CS50 program is ongoing, which is a computer science program where you get access to all I think a set of 50 videos and a set of 50 course materials to get you started from being just a regular computer science student or someone that has no knowledge of computer science to being someone that fully understands what computer science is all about. The course is free, but you get to pay for the certificate. If you can afford the certificate, I would definitely advise to pay for it. But you can take the courses without having to pay for the certificate. You can also consider that. There's also Udemy has access to lots of free courses that you can leverage on and gain a lot of the technical things I've already mentioned. There's also LinkedIn Learning. There's YouTube. Like YouTube is a place where I learned probably 70% of everything I know today. So YouTube is like an amazing, yeah, it's like an amazing resource for learning. Then there's Udacity. Udacity, some courses are free, some are paid. But I think there are a couple of scholarships out there that you can also leverage on and to be able to learn some of the things that you need. There's also Skillshare. Skillshare is not free, but I added it there just in case maybe someone might find the need to pay. The subscription isn't really that expensive. It's basically just 3,600 per month. So if you feel like maybe you might want to interact with that as well, you can also do that. So in conclusion, a very simple conclusion. Getting into tech is not as complicated as a lot of people make it seem. Like I've already mentioned, there are lots of opportunities that exist. That if you feel like you're not someone that is designed to learn how to code and all of that, you can also interact with all of those other opportunities and just get started. If you're someone that also just have an idea, you might not know how to code, you might not really know have the patience to be able to go and learn how to write Java or how to write JavaScript or how to write HTML and all the likes. You might just be someone that has an idea that they want to solve. Let's say, for example, a very short example. Let's say there's usually the very big problem of attendance in most universities. There isn't a very effective way of taking attendance except for paper and pen. You could be someone that might just think and be like, okay, how can I ease the process of this attendance issue in my university? And just by thinking about an idea, laying out a certain groundwork for that idea, and thinking about how you can use tech to achieve this idea, and talking to people that actually know how to code and interacting with them, just by that little act alone, you alone as a person, you've already ventured into tech because you're already thinking about ways to solve a problem. You're already thinking about how to apply technology to solve a problem. So it does not necessarily mean that you have to go and spend the rest of your life learning to code. You might just have an idea. You might just be someone that is more business oriented. You now have to think of ideas, not to solve problems. That might be your focus. I can choose to go ahead and just jump right in using that. So I think that's basically all I have to say. You can find me everywhere on social media: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, um, every social media that you can possibly think of at Ogurinka Ben. And you can visit my website. That's www.ogurinkabenjamin.com and see some of the things I do for a living and probably connect with me one way or the other. So thank you very much. I hope if you have questions, you can go ahead and ask questions. I'll be here for the rest of the call and I'll be able to take your questions. Thank you very much, Ahmed.
Okay, thank you very much, Ben. It's actually very great having you on the call with us, and I hope we enjoyed most everything that you said. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure having you on the call. So we are actually running out of time right now. So we have about, let's say, 12 minutes to round up. I'll actually give a little bit more of how we are going to approach the DSC and how we are going to do our things in the Developers and Clubs, University of Ilorin. So I'll be sharing my screen right now, and we'll just be rounding up in a couple of minutes. Um, is this? Can you all see my screen right now? Okay. Thank you very much. So basically how we are going to make this journey an interesting one, because for 1 year we are going to be interacting with each other and getting to know more about each other and how we can help each other grow. So it's a journey. So I would like every one of us to embrace that. And in a couple of slides, we'll be checking out how we what the developer student clubs has to offer and what we expect in return from the community members. So thank you, as you stay tuned. So before I dive in, so I would like to introduce my core team members. These are the people that are my right side men, that my right hand. They are people that will be doing this thing together. So basically, we are members of the same team, and as you can see, we are 10 in number. And because I believe that there is no I in team, and we have to work together to achieve something great. So these are my core team members. Every one of them is a student, as you can see, student of the University of Ilorin, and they have their own department. You can see it's computer science, and every one of them in their respective departments. So you can approach them if you have any questions for them. Some of them are on this call, while some of them are not available due to some circumstance. So later on, we will be sharing we will be telling you about how to get in touch with them, and how to get in touch specifically with me. So it's easy, it's easy, and everything will be good. So these are my core team members, and we'll be getting to know more about them in coming sessions. So what do we have to offer to the community members? So we, as a core team, we know we have resources and how we can help our community member, because that's basically what we are here to do. So we'll be hosting some sessions, we'll be hosting events, and we would like you to get engaged. So we will be hosting events, like we'll be handling hands-on workshops, like we'll be checking out workshops that we'll be checking out code sessions. We'll be inviting experts to come to our events to give us more insights as to what tech is about, as Benjamin has already done. So we'll be getting to know more about study jams. We'll be getting to know more about each other through study jams and all. We will be getting engaged with boot camps. You can get engaged with Android bootcamp, UI UX, and everything that there is to know about technology. So we'll be checking out Explore ML. Basically, Explore ML is an initiative also by Google to help people, especially students, to get started in machine learning and AI. So we'll be checking out those things, and we'll be inviting experts to enlighten us about these things. So we have the solutions challenge. Solutions challenge is, as Mr. Auwal has explained earlier, is one thing that Google organizes at the beginning of the year, January. Google employs students, not employ like Google employs students to come up with solutions to problems in their community. And I can see that as Africans, we have a lot of problems, so we should be able to come up with solutions to these problems. So these are some of the ways we can actually solve the problems that humanity face. So we'll be checking out solutions challenge. We'll be getting together to brainstorm on some solutions that we can bring to the table. So we also have coding challenges. We'll engage in competitions. We'll give out prizes. We'll give out prizes to those that win coding challenges and all. So how do we conduct some of these online? Basically, because we are going to be hosting some of these sessions online. But when school resumes, we'll be getting fully into it. We'll be getting into the boot camps and all. So before we get started with the boot camps, and before school resumes, we'll be doing some of these sessions online. So we've been using WhatsApp for basic communication. Currently, we are using Google Meet for this session. And as we'll see in coming sessions, we'll be using Slido. Slido is a platform for organizing polls. Like when you want to get more from your from your audience, you want to know how they are feeling. You can easily go to Slido and create a poll and get things and get more from them. So we'll be using GitHub. This is a logo of GitHub for storing our community projects, because as we'll be seeing that we'll be coming up with some solutions to the challenges that we face in our community. So we'll be using GitHub to store all of our code base. So we'll also be using Gmail. We'll be using Gmail to send reminders, newsletters to remind you about our events and to tell you when events are coming up. So I'm kind of speeding up because we have a little bit of time left. So we'll be using YouTube for sessions. So basically, Google Meet doesn't allow sessions that meetings that are more than, let's say, I don't know, 250 members. So if we have, like, we are open, we get people to come to our event. If we have more than 250 members, like 250 people in our event, then we can easily switch to YouTube and do that. Let's say we are organizing an event with another DSC. We can easily use YouTube for those sessions. So we are actually going to be posting all of our recordings, session recordings on YouTube for viewers that are not here right now to see or to get to know more about these sessions. So we've actually stated what we have to offer to you guys, what the DSC has to offer. So what we want in return from you guys, we don't want money. We only want your collaboration. We only want your collaboration and your support and something else. So through your collaboration, through your support, we are able to provide you with more. We are able to provide you with resources and things to help you grow. So we want your collaboration and your support, and we have something called the code of conduct. Basically, every company, though DSC is not a company, every group has code of conduct, what they want you to do and what they don't want you to do. So we'll be going over some of those things and we'll get to know more about them. So number one, as you can see, because you are a developer student club member or you are a core team member, that doesn't give you the right to say that you work at Google. Even I myself as a lead, I don't work at Google. I can't say that I work at Google. I'm just a volunteer for developer student club. I decided to volunteer to lead student developers in my community. So the DSC is powered by Google developers, but you can't say that you are working at Google because that doesn't even seem right. So also going to LinkedIn and adding an affiliation to your profile that okay, I'm working with DSC University of Ilorin, that doesn't seem right, doesn't really look right. But going to your profile and saying that you volunteer to do this for the DSC, volunteer to do this for the DSC, that feels very, very okay. So secondly, we have this. We have some students that are usually concerned about certificate. We don't give certificates at our sessions. When, like, for example, after this info session, there's nothing like a certificate of attendance or something. So because one of the main reasons why we don't give certificate is that we don't want students that only come because the certificate is attached to the event. So we don't want students to come with that mindset. So that's why one of the reasons why we don't give certificates at our event, unless we have a special event like a big coding challenge or something that really needs, like, attract a certificate. That's when we give certificate. So more of this in later sessions, because we will be diving deeper into what we have to offer in coming sessions. So number 3, this is one problem that we face a lot, because right now we sent invites, okay, people RSVP'd. We had about 40 people that RSVP'd, 41 actually. So on this call we have only 17 people, and out of those 17, I can see myself in 2 places. If I'm exempted, that's 15 people. Let's say about 12 people only joined the call. So we implore you to make sure that you join any events that you registered for. So make sure that you join any event that you registered for. And I understand that you might register for an event and you get delayed or you get into some issues when on the D-Day. So we implore you to make sure that you attend those events, because it takes time. It takes a lot of planning to actually plan this event, and we hope that you continue to attend this event, because we don't make money from it. We're only doing community service. So please make sure that you attend your event that you register for. So number four, you shouldn't disrespect anyone. You shouldn't bully anyone or hurt anyone. University of Learning students, you part of what the school wants you to do is that the school wants you to respect each other, because respect is reciprocal. Actually, the school doesn't want you to bully anyone. So we actually want the same in the developer student clubs. You shouldn't bully anyone, because it can get you banned. You won't be able to attend any of our events. You won't get the opportunity to sniff part of what we have for community members. So make sure that you do things politely, in a polite manner. So after this event, we'll be posting some forms as to how you feel and what you think we didn't do best and how we can improve on that. So if you feel you didn't like this event didn't meet up to your expectation, you can easily do that in the post event form. Do it politely, please, because if you don't do it politely, we planned this event, we took the number of people we like, majority of people, what we feel they are aligned with, we took those into consideration and we planned this event. So if it doesn't if it doesn't meet your expectation, we are sorry for that. You can easily do that in the post event form. So do not spam. This is a very, very common issue among Nigerians. You get to a WhatsApp group and you see a lot of people, because I can notice basically due to COVID-19, everyone has started selling bags and shoes. Everyone has started selling clothes. Those that are not selling those things, they are selling iPhones and Samsung. Yeah, we understand that you need to make money, but please don't spam our channels. When you spam channels, you tend to make people miss the real details. You tend to make people miss the real information. So please don't spam. When we sniff or we notice that you spam, you get banned from, like, you can get suspended actually from our meetups and stuff. So make sure that you don't spam, and keep things simple and easy. Though you can share resources, you can share sensible things on our channels. You can post scholarships, you can post resources, and share events that you feel will be helpful to community members. That way you are helping the community to grow. So make sure that you do those things and do not spam. Thank you. So basically, of all these things, we want you to be nice. When people approach you, be nice to them. We want you to be respectful. Respect people. Don't treat our speakers harshly because the speaker said something that is against your beliefs. Don't go to the speaker and punch him in the face or do something that is bad. Please be constructive, be competent, make sure that you attend your event, be collaborative. Make sure that you collaborate with people, you network, you share ideas, and that's one way the community can grow. Be thoughtful and step down considerately when you see someone you sit on a chair at an event, and you go out to get something or to get someone, and you see that someone else has sit on your seat. So please make sure that you step down considerately. Just leave the person and just find another seat. Even if it's the floor, you can sit down. Just make sure that you sit down on the floor. So step down considerately and maintain etiquette. Overall, maintain etiquette. Be good. Do things in a sensible manner. So we'll be, after the code of conduct, we'll be touching down some tech domains. As Benjamin has said, some tech. There's so many things about tech. There's so many things. There's so many aspects about tech. What Benjamin said is just a subset of some other things that tech is related to. So we'll be touching on some tech domains because we can't take every tech domain. So some of these tech domains we'll be checking out. Most of them are Google products, but we'll be checking out some more also. We'll be checking out Android. Android is, everyone knows Android. Basically is the most common operating system for mobile devices. We'll be checking out Firebase. Some of us don't know what Firebase is. Firebase is basically like a back end. Like, I can't say it's a back end actually, but Firebase has so many things to it. We'll be checking out some of these things. Basically, it helps you to build effective things and help you to do things in a more structural manner. So We'll be checking out Google Cloud Platform. Google Cloud Platform is for those that know that are more familiar with cloud computing. You know what Google Cloud Platform is. It helps you to build scalable things. It helps you to deploy machine learning algorithms. It helps you to deploy great and scalable products. We'll be checking out Google Cloud Platform. We'll be checking out TensorFlow also. Some of us know TensorFlow, some of us don't. TensorFlow is a framework, an open source framework from Google. It's a framework for machine learning. It helps you to build machine learning algorithms. We'll be checking out TensorFlow a lot. So we'll bring in experts to talk about TensorFlow and how you can get started with using TensorFlow. So basically, that's it. So web, we have the web. Web is basically there's no one that doesn't that's in this course that hasn't made use of the web. So we'll be checking out how to becoming a full stack web developers. So we have experts. There's so many people. There's so many things that you don't know about tech. We'll be checking out um, some modern day things in tech in web development. So there is Flutter also. Flutter is a framework that allows you to build cross-platform apps. So you can build apps for Android, iOS, desktop devices, desktop apps, and also for the web. So that's Flutter. GitHub. Every one of us, not every one of us know how to contribute to open source. And I can say that open source, being contributing to open source is one great thing that is vital if you are a software developer or anything. So make sure that you contribute to open source frequently. So everything that we'll be talking about tech domains and stuff, everything I think if you don't know how to contribute to open source, I don't know how you're going to how you're going to make how you're going to abide by that, because if you don't know what a version control system is like GitHub, you can't contribute. You can't be on a team of developers that are building let's say an application or a big website. So you have to know how to use version control in order to contribute. And as you'll see, we'll be making use of GitHub for our community projects. So we'll actually be we open every project that we'll be building will be open source. So we'll be employing people to dive into our GitHub repositories and contributing. So UI UX is something that is very important. You're building websites, you're building Android apps. You have to make sure that your UI and the UX is stunning. So people have to interact with your UI, get the feeling out of your user experience also. And we'll be checking out what UI UX design is. We have experts in those fields also that are going to be taking us. Embedded systems also. I love embedded systems actually. Yeah, because embedded systems, when you look at things like these cameras that like alarming systems and all, they are built with embedded systems. So these are smart devices. Like they can be usually they can be integrated with AI. You can use your phones to control these smart devices to do things that you want them to do. So those are embedded systems, and we'll be touching down on some of the devices that we'll be building. So we have lots and lots and other things like digital marketing and stuff that don't have logos. That's why I didn't put them here. So they don't have logos, and I can't really dive deep into the internet and get some logos for them. So we'll be checking out those, and we'll be interacting more with. We will be getting to know more about each other by interacting with these tech domains. So getting to know more about these tech domains, we'll see how we can build solutions for our community, because basically I can see that even in our university alone we have a lot of problems. Yeah, we have a lot of problems. So if you're thinking like me, you will think about problems that we have, that the normal problem that we have, that is like a linked list problem. Like I called it a linked list problem because basically it's a problem that has some other problems attached to it. So when you cut off the head of that linked list, every other one goes away. So we have a problem with transportation. So transportation is a very very big problem, a massive problem that we have to solve as a developers network lead. So basically, as a lead, I pledged to solve three problems, to come up with at least three solutions to problems, to real problems in my community. So these problems don't have to be limited to my locality alone. They can be problems that we solve for local businesses. you saw that barber or that pepper seller in your community, and you decided that what this woman is doing is not right. I can help her with tech. I can enlighten her about Google business and how to get her business right on a strong foot. So these are some of the things that we will be checking out together and to get to know more about each other about. So we're actually running out of time. So I'll actually have to end with this quote that says the greatness of community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. So what this quote is actually telling us is that by contributing, by collaborating, and by being supportive, you actually help us, to us that we are hosting events and sessions, to do more. And because by doing this, we will be able to do more and help you guys in return. So we have tons of resources that we can help you with. So resources ranging from so many tech domains um in tech. So we'll be checking out these resources because they are vast, really vast. There's so many resources, and we'll be checking out how to use them and how to really make good use of those resources. So I'll actually have to end because that's the end of my slide. So you can actually reach me out through this handle. I'm like Ben. Through this handle you can get to know more about me. This is my Twitter handle, my Instagram handle, my GitHub repository, everything that has to do with a username outside in technology, or anything that has to do with a username in website and stuff. You can get me on through this social media handle. So if you DM me, I'm actually available anytime to answer to your questions or any problems that you are having. So I actually have to say thank you because we are out of time. I said this event would end by 1:30. So um okay, I don't know if you guys can do this for me. I don't know if it is possible. Barely looking at this screen, you can see if you're able to go to slido.com, if you're using your mobile phone, you can easily switch to your laptop, or you can easily change tabs. Go to slido.com and enter DSC Unilorin and come up with this string LODSC, like print this string on your screen that says LODSC Unilorin with your favorite programming language. It could be anything, Python, Java, anything. So don't feel discouraged. Any one of you that isn't a coder or a programmer, don't feel discouraged. We'll be diving deep into how you can become something, how you can become valuable in a particular tech domain. So if you can do this, it's fine. If you can't, it's actually good also. The best thing is that I hope you guys have had a very good experience in this info session. So I actually want to thank you guys for taking your time, because we spent up to about 1 hour and 40 minutes coming here and talking to each other about tech. I really appreciate that. So these are some of the things that I really encourage you to be doing, because we've worked from Monday to Friday, and Saturday we're supposed to rest with the weekend, and you guys took your time to come over and learn more about technology. Thank you very much. I haven't received any response from this. It's fine. So thank you very much everyone for being here, and I actually want to end this call right now. So if you have any questions, you can easily ask in the chat box, or probably I can add my phone number here. You can check me out on WhatsApp. If any questions just come up while you are ending the call or something. So I'll add my phone number. So that's my phone number. You can get me on WhatsApp to ask me about anything that has to do with the DSC, anything that has to do with tech actually. So thank you guys for making it to this call.